everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's tutorial is showing you how to do the feather stitch. It's a really simple, easy stitch to do. It's great for beginners. It creates quite a dense fabric, but it's still very soft and squishy. It's the same on the other side, and it's got a very easy pattern row repeat. So let's get started. I'm using a 4mm hook for this tutorial. I'm using Stylecraft Special DK. You can use any yarn, any size hook, it doesn't matter. It still works up just as well. So you chain multiples of 2. So just an even number, chain an even number. This was 28, and for this tutorial I'm just going to chain 20. So I'll just do that first of all. That's 10. And that's 20. Then what we do is we work a half treble into the second chain from the hook and all the way along. Half treble in the next chain and just keep working your way back along. And also make sure that you catch both loops of that chain that you're working into. So you've worked your half treble row, so you're going to chain 1 and turn. So you work a half treble into the first stitch and chain 1. Skip a stitch, half treble in the next stitch and chain 1. Skip a stitch, half treble in the next stitch and chain 1. And do that all the way along, and I'll meet you back here. So I've worked the last half treble into the last stitch. You chain 1 and turn your work. Now this is the start of the feather stitch row, so you're going to put a half treble into the top of this stitch here. So into the top of this half treble here. Half treble and chain 1, and then this is the start of your feather stitch. So yarn over, and what we're looking at here is you're going to be working into this space here, the chain stitch underneath, and the space here. So I'll show you what that's like. So yarn over, insert your hook into that big space, yarn over, pull up a loop so it's tall and it's the same height as the other stitches, and leave it on your hook, yarn over. Now we're going into this stitch here. Insert your hook, grab your yarn from the back, pull it up to the height of your other stitches and leave it on your hook, yarn over, insert into the next big space, pull your yarn, pull it up to the height of the other stitches. Now we have 7 loops on the hook here, so yarn over and pull through all 7 and chain 1. And that's your first feather stitch. The next stitch you work out of this space that you've just done your last leg out of. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull your yarn through, pull up a loop and leave it on your hook, yarn over. You're going to insert your hook into this stitch here, grab your yarn from the back, pull it up so it's nice and tall, yarn over and go into the next space. You've got 7 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 7 and chain 1, and that's your second feather stitch. I'll do one more with you. Yarn over, insert your hook into the space you've just worked out of, pull up a loop, yarn over into the middle stitch below, yarn over into your next space. 7 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 7 and chain 1, and there's your next feather stitch. So pause the video, work these stitches along, and I'll meet you at the end here. You've worked your last feather stitch now in this last space, and all you do now is chain 1, and you're going to work a half treble into the top of this stitch here. Chain 1 and turn, and that's your first feather stitch row. So all you do now is you put a half treble again into the top of this first half treble here, chain 1 and you start again. So yarn over, insert your hook in the space, pull up a loop. Now you're going to go into this space here now underneath that you can clearly see all the way along. Pull up a loop, yarn over and go into this next space. So you have 7 loops on your hook, pull through and chain 1, and there's your first feather stitch. And again, go into this space that you've just worked out of, pull up a loop into this space directly underneath and into the next space along. Pull through and chain 1. And work all the way along to the end, and I'll meet you back here. So you've worked your last feather stitch here, so all you do is you pop a half treble into the top of this stitch here, of your half treble from your previous row, chain 1 and turn. So there we have it. That's the pattern repeat. It's a very simple pattern repeat, and it's quite meditative once you get going. You do have to initially you do have to think about it and make sure that you've gone into the right gaps, but it is a lovely pattern. It's very squishy, makes quite a dense fabric as you can see there, and you can change colours as many times as you want. You can leave it the same, a solid colour. You can use variegated yarn. It's just a lovely stitch pattern to make up, and it's got lovely definition. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching. See you next time.